Because it's you.
No, but you're the one who gets people excited. So welcome to Craft Chocolate TV. My name is Dylan, and today we are in a very special place with a very special person. This is Patrick from Choco Del Sol, and we are in Eastern Germany in Saxony, and we are about to attend and participate in the Eurobean Chocolate Festival. So, Patrick.
Welcome, Dylan. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for coming all the way. I know Craft Chocolate TV is not original from Germany.
No, not originally.
And I'm really happy, Dylan and Carson and also Nick, really happy to have you here at the festival. And Dylan, where are we? We are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, kind of. So we were talking about on the way here that the equivalent would be something like Kansas in the United States. For Germany, or even in Europe.
Is this a compliment for Kansas?
It's a compliment for Kansas, actually, yes. But just as a picture of where in the world we are in Europe, we're just in the middle of Germany,
right?
Which is in like the middle of Europe.
It is,
and we're surrounded by rolling wheat fields and castles,
right?
And we happen to be in one which you had kind of a stroke of luck, crazy coincidence of being able to set up your chocolate factory here some years back.
Yes.
And then it continued on with that.
Yes.
To want to bring the chocolate community together more.
Yes.
And so that's, correct me if I'm wrong, why the Eurobean Chocolate Festival is what it is and continues to grow.
This is exactly right, Dylan. The idea behind this festival is, first of all, really bringing the best chocolate maker of the world together. I know there are other chocolate festivals existing, but they are not in Germany and they are not in Europe. And we as European chocolate makers, we just talked about how we first met, and that was in Seattle. And as much as I love Seattle, it's a beautiful city, it is kind of stupid for us European chocolate maker, in order to meet, to travel around over the ocean and to go to Seattle. To the Northwest Chocolate Festival. And on one evening at the Northwest, we were sitting and we were having dinner with other people. We're saying, that's crazy. Let's have something like this in Germany, in Europe.
Well, you had that idea pretty early on. I remember you asked me at one of the events at the Northwest Chocolate Festival in Seattle, would you come to a chocolate festival in a castle in Germany? And I was like, heck yeah, I will. You got me. Say no more.
And Dylan, thanks a lot for taking on this invitation so early on, because our festival, if you have a festival which is new, you need headliners. And our first festival, you were our headliner. You are still our headliner, because you take every excuse from everyone not to come, because no one travels further.
Yeah, it makes it hard to have an excuse when I come from Hawaii to Eastern Germany. So in that case, yeah, I came the farthest, traveled the most.
And I'm very grateful that you, as a chocolate maker, and you with your company, comes every year. And question is still, why are you doing this? Because
right, this is the question.
This is the question. Does it mean, or is it really necessary? What do you think for a chocolate maker to come to a festival, or at such kind of festival?
Yes, there's a few wonderful reasons to go to chocolate festivals. First of all, it is a chocolate festival. Yeah. So you're going to get to experience, learn, eat chocolate from many different other companies.
Yes.
And, well, that's just a really good time and experience. But from a chocolate maker perspective, to come to an event like this, the networking and friendships and education aspect is hard to put into words for a chocolate maker who's starting, who needs to grow or wants to grow.
Yes.
Just because you're going to learn more from me and you talking, or me and Zotter talking, than you could possibly learn from a book.
Definitely. And then before we came here, we talked about penning. Yeah. And just by chance, and we had all of a sudden we are in this deep conversation about panning, and this is exactly what.
Right. And for people who don't know what panning is, it looks like a cement mixer.
Yes.
And you'd have a bunch of almonds or macadamia nuts, and you would be drizzling chocolate over to enrobe or coat that product in chocolate. And
it's hard to do, huh?
It's not easy. actually.
And there are little...
It's more time consuming than anyone would ever expect.
Yeah, exactly. And to figure out or to get more insight in this, a festival is a perfect place for getting to know other techniques, and without even having an agenda, because before you came to this festival, you did not put on your note, I have to talk about penning.
No,
it's just the setting, the festival as a setting just constantly brings stuff like this out of people, because you talk about what you most love at the chocolate festival.
Sure, you have a whole bunch of passionate people talking about chocolate, all coming from different backgrounds of what is or isn't working for them, and sharing that very openly. So our chocolate, our craft chocolate community, I would say is very tight and shares almost everything to the point where you can go home and better your business or better your chocolate.
I think exactly the same. And the community, I think it's really important. I think it doesn't matter on which step with your business you're on.
So to elaborate on that, the first chocolate festival that you put on here was maybe six chocolate makers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Was an amazing success. We had so much fun. It literally is the most fun chocolate festival.
I think so.
The setting where we are, the people who came, it's a blast. So the next year, how many chocolate makers came?
10.
The next year,
12, 15. Now we are.
And now we're
on full capacity.
22 chocolate makers.
Yes.
So right away, you can start to see there's some serious momentum.
Yes.
And a need for it, because Europe didn't really have a craft chocolate festival or scene that everyone could bond like that.
Right.
And we've noticed the same thing at the Salon du Chocolat in Paris.
You were there. Yeah.
There is a huge community called the Bean to Bar Village, and it's just taking over that show.
Yeah.
So you can see the need for it.
Yes.
And that's how the community and industry, craft chocolate industry, will continue to improve.
Yes. And this, how wonderful it is for us as chocolate maker. The same way is it more, even every time more wonderful for the visitors.
Oh, sure.
I mean, because we are learning what we're doing, we are getting better, and all the visitors.
I'm always surprised at how many visitors come to this event, because we're in a town of
300 people, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say you're exaggerating. There might not be 300 people here, and then the next town over has maybe 1,000, and then another town over.
Yes.
And so we're really isolated, but thousands of people come to this.
Yes,
and they're so interested.
Very good point. Not only interested, also educated over the years. Because normally you go to a chocolate festival and you assemble and, it's milk chocolate. Is it dark? Yes, it's dark chocolate. People here, they come, no, we want this, but do you have this dark chocolate with the cacao from Corozal, or the education level is really high.
Yeah.
And you don't need to tell anyone what is bean to bar chocolate. People know. People just now here for the good stuff. This is a follow of all the years of education, what we do with our customers. And this is exactly what we do.
It's a really good example of grassroots.
Yes, exactly.
Even the way that our craft chocolate companies have grown, but also the way that your event has grown, the way the education in the community grows, and that just keeps spreading.
Yes. And this is basically it's the same what we try with our packaging. We try to give a lot of information through our packaging to our customers. And then you wonder, if you get emails, you think, wow, our customers are really up to the point. And this is the same with a festival is this. Of course, if you talk over years, what makes a good chocolate to a good chocolate? What makes a good cacao to a good cacao? Of course, people learn. And we see this in our schools here, the schools surrounded by this village. They all come during the year and they say, we were at the festival and now we want to have special programs for our kids in the school. We want to learn then more about how how you deal with your cocoa producer, like what is fair really fair, is organic really organic, or what is organic, what is fair, like.
Yeah, these are all wonderful topics for kids or people in general to look deeper into.
Yes.
And ask those questions.
And a festival like this is just a trigger, you know.
So one of my favorite, let's see, we haven't had the event for the last few years.
Yeah.
So the last time I was here was maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
And one of the favorite talks that I went to was by the captain of the boat.
Yeah.
And so maybe we can share a little bit about some of the non-chocolate makers who attend. Yeah. I know that there's an equipment manufacturer who...
Yes.
Who
I mean, the chocolate maker, of course, like you guys, you were the first who came to this festival. And then very shortly we realized, wow, interest is growing from machinery, from NGOs, from like other organic producers here in the area. And this is what I love so much about this festival, that yes, it is a chocolate festival, but it's so much more. It is like you said, the captain who is the only the only one in Germany who transports good just with renewable energy, with wind.
Right. So this large wooden ship,
right,
fills its hulls with cacao beans in this case,
yes,
and sails it from Belize to Hamburg.
Yes.
And then unloads it. It's
yes,
all on wind power.
All on wind.
And then you guys get it to your factory,
yes, yeah,
to have the lowest impact on the environment, right, possible. And it's so neat that actually is happening. I know another trip that they'd done, another journey was with rum.
Yes,
where they put it in all the barrels, and whether
yes,
they came from Dominican Republic or somewhere in the Caribbean.
And guess what then? When we did the first shipment with the sailboat, people asked me, "Are you not afraid about your beans?" Because, it's a sailboat and would be much nicer to store them in a traditional container. But then now I realize the beans on the sailing vessel are a lot better. I believe they are of a much higher quality when they arrive at our place. Because a container is there, it sits in the sun. A container just is a number.
Yeah.
A number from
it's a big
million numbers, and it doesn't matter what is inside. It's there, it's in the rain, it's in the cold, it's in the heat, it's there. No one cares. It's a container. But on the sailing vessel, there is one person responsible just to look after the goods, And this man it's his personal task to transport these goods in the best fashion, so nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
So when my beans arrive, they are in a perfect condition, and I feel like that they are also, the quality has not improved, of course not, but it's the same quality. Maybe it has.
Maybe they've aged in a different kind of way.
Maybe.
Like in the same way with the rum, right?
Yes.
It's sitting there sloshing around in the barrel, and all of a sudden it's grabbing more of the flavor of the barrel faster and helps it age better.
Whatever happens, something happens. And what happens is good.
It also sounds a lot cooler.
Of course it does. Of course. How do you get your cocoa beans?
We
sail them from the Caribbean.
From Belize.
Yeah. And those connections are made here on the festival. The captain comes here, every chocolate maker can talk to him, and that's how it starts.
Yeah, I know. He did a rum tasting with us. It was great.
Oh, really? You need to come for the rum tasting.
Rum, chocolate.
Yeah, wine. We have wine and chocolate tastings, and those are the other people who are coming. When I said other organic producers, like people who have organic farms here in the area, wineries.
Yeah, isn't this the season of, they do a lot of white wine. There's usually a wine event in Chemnitz around this time.
Exactly now,
yeah.
So after the chocolate festival.
Straight over to Chemnitz?
Yes, let's do the wine.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of, we could talk about this for a long time, but those are most of the benefits that I see in going to shows, which is why we make sure that we go to 3 or 4 shows a year. And it's also kind of how we do marketing.
Yeah.
Just to meet the community who might later purchase our chocolate bars and continue with this grassroots type of movement.
Yes.
The equipment manufacturers that are usually at events, which are starting to come here now.
Yes.
That's one of the best things for chocolate makers in particular.
I think so too, yeah.
I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I just feel really, really happy to have this, that this event can actually happen again. 2 years it was not possible. Now it's 2 years later, and we will see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I just today all the chocolate maker arriving, and I just think to myself, what a
it's going to be a really fun few days.
it's going to be a really fun few days. I don't know.
And just to be in a castle, like we're in a real castle.
Yes.
This is a big
I wish
castle.
you guys could see where we are.
Yes,
Carlsen
well-
is about 100 meters higher up, looking in a beautiful courtyard.
Well, there's only one way to do that. They actually have to come.
Yes, yes. Please come to the middle of Germany. Ask for the chocolate festival. Anyone in Germany will know.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. So anyway, happy to be here.
Thank you.
Excited to start this weekend, and yeah,
Maybe we make another episode after the weekend.
I think we should.
We should.
Yes, because there's going to be a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Thanks for coming.
happy to be here. Until next time. Tschüss.
Ciao, Kakao.